Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Breath work today, 9 a.m. Hello, Alexandra. Hi, guys. Let me see what time it is. All right, we've got a minute, but I'll give 2 minutes for people to join in and get comfortable. We'll be going up and down a little bit, so just setting yourselves up that you've got some space. And most likely you will want 2 blocks or anything that can facilitate a little bit of a lift, especially with working with breath. We want the psoas and the diaphragm to just have as much capacity to mobilize and to create space. So just setting yourselves up for that. Again, we'll give a minute or 2 for folks to join. Give yourself space, grab a glass of water maybe for the end. That might be nice. And we'll go from there. Hey everybody. Pranayama today. Whether you're joining live or on your own, this is an opportunity to just really start to look at the terrain of our emotional and mental landscape, and the breath really being a means of palpating that work, and to then see how it's being reconciled in the body, and then how it's being shot out externally. I know a lot of folks this week have felt a tug of whether to be teaching or not right now, and for me personally, I couldn't not teach breath work this week. The work we do on the mat, for me, has definitely always been a way of also negotiating my sense of self with the world. And that the struggle with anything that we do in these experiences, whether it's the dance studio, whether it's a yoga class or a fitness class, is not letting those techniques live in a vacuum, that they don't just live in that moment, that the real realizations that occur are when we're in a social exchange. And so that concept of going to a monastery and separating yourself, and then that's when you're having the big revelations, it's not really what most of us are doing. We are in a social monastery. We are interacting with the world. And what we do on our mats is we bring those revelations and we give them more nuance, and we get a better sense of the map. So then when we step into any emotion that we've never been in before, we have a better way of navigating ourselves in it. So we're going to be up and down today, sometimes sitting, sometimes standing. And anything that's causing any pain, please take a pause. If anything is causing a bit of discomfort without pain, just recognizing that threshold. We're going to be playing a bunch with Kapalabhati and Bhastrika. Kapalabhati is that sharp exhale that just has a natural inhalation in response. The Bhastrika, which is the breath of fire, is a pronounced and forced inhale and exhale. So those are the two main breath exercises we'll be playing with today. So we're going to just dive right in. Go ahead and get comfortable. I'm sitting on a block to just give a little rise for my pelvis. And if that serves to be on the shins or in cross-legged, make that decision for yourself. You might even be in a chair if you feel like you've been sitting on the floor a lot recently. And I'll preface before, I'm sorry if my voice is a little shot. I'm realizing, going to a couple of the protests and chanting, I don't think I was doing it really well. So, all right, let's get in it. So, without changing the breath, just landing in, discerning that you are holding space for yourself. Letting this work of pranayama, this breath work, be an interruption of our routine, that it truly is making us yield to the moment. Without changing the breath, yielding into the qualities of sensing, of hearing, of seeing within. That stroke of breath going in and out. Checking in with the weight of the jaw, where there might be tension. Really sensing the full roundedness of the eye socket here. And what does that do when we just slip into a bit more awareness? How does that suddenly, right away, give a response somewhere else in the body? And notice where it is for you. Alert yourselves to this inner form palpating and pressing against this external body. Envisioning that the outline of energy over our form is fat and fluffy. But the goal of these techniques are to build radiance, to build power, to liberate the mind. Take the right hand over the belly. Take the left hand over the heart. And now find empty. Let all the air go. Bottom out. Breathe in through the nose. Drawing it up, 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 up. Sigh out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. And out through the mouth. One more with a big exhale. In. Fill up with lightness. And free it out. And for one Om together, breathing in completely. When we are not making noise, that we sense that there is constant resonance within the body around us, that there is this exchange. Go ahead and open the eyes, and we're going to start with making claw hands. And you can already feel when you do this that this grip of the palms, it's really being fierce, being protective, being ready to fight when you need to, be strong in the self of either your ideas or even your own body. And so we're going to come into that protective shield. What we're going to do is we're going to have them wide. Hopefully you can see my arms, yeah. And then you're going to swing them up overhead on the inhale, crossing the wrists, and then you'll swing it back down on the exhale. And you'll just keep exchanging which wrist is in front and really feel that you're clawing against the air. So I'll start it, and when you're ready to join me, go ahead. In through the nose, out. In and out. In and out. In and out. And find a really sweet rhythm as you do this, and really think that you are shedding something off your arc line above you, that you're really cutting away at the fabric that's potentially inhibiting you. Whatever thought that isn't working and serving you, your feelings about something, just really sense that you are shredding it for a moment. We're being our own shredding machine here. And so we cleanse this palate, and then we recharge it with the breath, that we trust we are safe, that we know how to protect ourselves. Start to speed it up just a little bit, just enough that you sense that there is this subtle discomfort with coming into creating safety, that sometimes we really feel that we are out of control, but let the pituitary gland get fired up here and let it work top down, where it starts to fire all of our other glands to keep us safe, to keep us healthy, to keep us working. Keep the breath going in and out, in and out. Just a few more like this. Keep the flexion of the hands. It might be uncomfortable, and that's okay. You might soften it for a moment and then recharge it. So recalibrate yourself in this. Hear your breath. Hear your breath. Hear what it is to be safe. We're going to add lion's breath on our exhale for the last 10. In. 3 more. Bring the arms up, breathe it in. Hold at the top, connect the palms for a moment, meeting together, integrating right and left side. Out through the mouth. Prayer at the heart center. Right away, just drop the hands down onto your thighs. Really meet the moment of your ability into your stability. So really fitting into the form of it. Whether you're cross-legged again or on a seat or in the same position, mold the palms into your mobility and your stability. So you're really fitting into that. And now start to rock the pelvis forward and back, forward and back. And this is where we really start to integrate that rev We get into our fuel, get into that chamber of working into our passion, our desires, what gets us going in the morning. And so really feel that the groin is working against the earth, creating friction, and really grooving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And now see if you can integrate the breath on top of that. If you're finding that's not working for you and you're letting it go at its own rhythm, that's great. Potentially you add when the chest comes forward and in, and every time the chest and the pelvis tucks under and out, so it starts to look like this. But wherever you're doing with the breath, really sensing that you are mediating memory and potential, so past and present, and we're really going over that threshold of our circumstance, the relative truth, where we are right now, which is the purpose of these breath exercises, is to get us in, drop us in to the moment. So create that spark so we can really illuminate our path. We really see our feet. We see us standing here, connecting ourselves. If it feels good to close the eyes, please do so. Keep striking the match, connecting the sense of the body to the mind, to the breath. And now start to swirl your pelvis, going clockwise. So it's moving to the right. And that rhythm that you had, sense that you're still maintaining that sense of grooving, of being inside, keeping that momentum going. Again, we're going into the support of the legs, which are also a part of our locomotion. So we really got to see that they're awake, they are alert, they're with us. And then we have the agility of the hands that steps us into action, connecting to that. But here we're just rounding out our vision. We're opening up the eyes a bit. So really sense that at the base of the perineum, which is between the sit bones and the anus and the genitals, you can imagine that there's a spoon and it's scooping that sorbet in the bowl or scooping cookie dough, whatever your favorite sugary treat is. Just sensing it moving around, and it's going to the right, grooving this direction. And there is going to be a reverb with the ribs, but really sense that it's being manifested from the pelvis, rounding around. And listen to your breathing. Keep creating the sense that you're honing into your safety, so then you can really revolve yourself into your ability and your actions. Go ahead and start to move in the opposite direction right away. And sometimes it's a big whoa, I'm going in this other direction. I don't even know how to coordinate the body. So take that moment to just recognize, without any judgment, this side might feel easier. It might feel like there's more resistance. We started with going to the right, which connects us into the liver, which is a major organ that helps get rid of toxins. And so then what it does is, once it's flushed things out, it brings that up to the heart. So then that sense of clarity can then keep rising, maybe out into speech, maybe into the rest of the body, but it comes up to the heart. When we go to the left, we connect to that heart space. We connect to that innocence. Keep going. Check in with your breathing, that it's still palpating fully in and out. And then come one last time back and forth through the center. Find that spark that you know you can always come back to that fire. It's always there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold at the top. Just press the hands a little more into the thighs. And soften. Letting the eyes close if it feels available to do so. Makes you feel safe. And our efforts, like fire, are always rising. So sense that every time that you take the inhale, that you come into that realm, that medium, that element of lifting up. And then on your exhale, sensing the grace of the universe, the water quality coming down. And every time you work in that cycle, what you're mediating is how your efforts can be graceful. And how we recognize that grace is universal. It is always dropping down to us. And so how can we put ourselves in the circumstance to be receivers? To really take it in. To not get caught in the fire so much that we burn up. Beautiful. Come into a tabletop position and move your props aside. And we'll eventually come up to standing from here. So just being mindful that you've got the room to do so. Apologies if I'm slightly cut off with the camera. I might just slightly turn it just a little bit. And we're going to go from here, from this action, into Uddiyana Bandha, which is this lock of the navel up towards the spine. And we're going to do it on the exhale in a downward facing dog. If you don't want to go to downward facing dog, you can maintain a cat-like spine in your tabletop. But that's where we're going if it feels safe to go to down dog and play with that. Again, Uddiyana Bandha is on an exhale, but you're getting a mock inhale with the body. So navel zips up, ribs open wide. We're going to start off in our tabletop, just moving through some cat-cow. Start off slow. On your inhale, finding your cow. Exhale, curl the spine. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl. So keeping this going for now, just at this pace that helps you sculpt the back body. Brings more alertness of the palms into the earth. And we still are recreating that sense of spark and friction in the pelvis, but now we just aren't seated on the ground. So we have to imagine it, which is a lot of our daily life, is tapping into our imagination, really utilizing that. Because inside imagination is our compassion, it's our play. Start to speed up your cat-cows now, starting to create a little bit more of a fire, but sensing how you can still have the ease and the grace, that you're really coming into the curves and the contours and the roundedness of your thoughts, of the body, and then really hear that kick out of the air. Coming to the edge again of that discomfort without pain. So if there's any pain in the neck, then just see if you can get the tension out of the shoulders, out of the side of the neck. And so the head can really just go along for the ride. Fire up, fire up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big inhale in this arch, sustain. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, cat-like spine. Hold and go right into your downward facing dog. You might open up the feet. Stay empty of air. Uddiyana Bandha. Lift the belly up. Open the ribs wide. Press the hands and the feet down into the mat. Sustain. Exhale it out. Stay in the down dog or make your way there and just start to rock the feet a little right and left, bending one knee and the other. So there's just a little sway of the hips here. Maybe some bigger exhales. And I'm going to just face you, but start to walk your hands towards your feet and let your feet open up. So now you're in a wider fold here. And so then we really get to this relief of our adductors a bit. We're going to play a bit there and also into the glutes and our support. So just find first this fold in this wider stance. Just being mindful of the plugging down of the pinky side of the foot, but then the drawing up of the inner line of the legs up to the groin, even in this fold. Now see if you can maintain that as you start to bend one knee and then switch to the other. And just keep that swaying back and forth. And this is where it might be nice if the forward fold feels like there's a lot of resistance. You might set a block underneath you and then work with this action. This line is really the line of our sexuality, our desire, our creativity. It's all this sort of watery qualities that then feed into the earth. And so just see how you can let that serve you here. And eventually we're going to come up to stand, so you can bend the knees a little bit more. You can move the block off if you've had it. Good, you can see me. We're staying in this wide stance. So X out the body for a moment. Just give a little shimmy of the hips. Reach the arms up. And this won't be as long. What we're going to do is our opposite hand, our right hand, is going to cross over and either tap to our left knee or our left ankle. It will all depend on your own flexibility, but what it's really about is it's having a cross reference into the right inner thigh and how we can continue to stabilize the legs. So every time we cross, we'll keep alternating. There's an exhale. I'll begin it and you join when you're ready. You're welcome to potentially add a little bend of the knees. That might help you anchor in. And if you have a lot of flexibility, just being mindful that you're not thrusting the hips back so that all the weight falls into the heels. That as you let the momentum of the breath lift you up and then drop you down, that we're not letting ourselves fall back into our past. We're not falling back into our old stories. We're actually folding forward. We're crossing that threshold. Really letting ourselves receive and also let go of what we think the future needs to be. Just being available for grace here. Keeping that going, keep that going. We're not here too long. In and out, in and out, in and out. It can be really disorienting, dropping the head underneath the heart. So that's why we keep thinking about the breath. Last two. Inhale, stand up tall. Hands on the thighs, bend the knees. Exhale, out lion's breath. Hold empty. Draw the belly up. Shoulders might come up towards the ears, so press the arms against the thighs. Finding that Uddiyana Bandha, ribs flare out. On your inhale, stand up. And prayer to the heart center. So now we're already standing. Just bring the feet underneath you. And we're going to start with, we're just going to go into a little bit of a bounce here. And just playing with pointing the feet. And you might play with going one foot then the other, and that way it has more of a march feeling. And so just let the body respond for a second, that the flesh is just sort of bobbing with you. If anyone's been going to a protest, just feeling that the feet are still awake, they're still with you, they're still carrying you. So, and just letting everything else have a bit of freedom. Let there be a real pulse and a resonance down, and now start to shake the arms. This really gets into our lymphatic system. When we create a bit of impact, and when we really create this vibration, it's compressing the lymph nodes and helping lymph fluid move where it needs to. So keep shaking this out, getting free. A little wiggle more. Hop, 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 hop. Maybe you make some noise. 5, 4, take a little bit more, 3, 2, 1, just stand. Close the eyes and sense that vibration. What do you hear behind the head here? Letting your skin, the pores, be the eyes of your intelligence here. Coming back to the fatty and fluffy energy around the body, that you are not just your body, that there is a radiance out. Step the feet nice and wide. And turn the right toes out. I might not be mirroring you, so apologies. And just bend your right knee enough so that the knee is right over the ankle. You might shorten your stance a bit, or you might go a little deeper, depending on what serves. We're channeling Arjuna, who is this ultimate archer, who is a major player in the Bhagavad Gita. And he very much helps in this major battle, and he has so many doubts of himself, and Krishna just provides him that offering of faith in the self, that you have to just do the work, you've got to show up. And so make thumbs with the hands, bring the left hand right at the heart so the elbow's pointing back, and it's like we've done arrow. I'm just going to back up a little bit so you can see me. Yeah, here we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this left arm swing overhead as if you're drawing a bow. And then on our exhale, bend the elbow. Inhale, swing the arms forward. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now keep this going and really look over that right thumb. So even though the left arm is doing something else, we are so stable in this intention. In the sense of really seeing ahead, seeing where we want to go. We've got our feet, we've got our safety. We are alert. We are radiant and powerful. And so here we just reassert our power, that we are warriors. We are radiant. Hear your breath every time you draw that bow back and you release. There's the exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw that arm forward. Exhale. And just hold for a moment, looking over that thumb. Make sure the left eye is navigating over that right thumb just as equally. You are prepared. You are strong. You are resilient. Let the arms go. Turn the toes in, and we just switch to the other side, which might feel very similar or it might be very different. We don't place any judgment on it. We don't plan what it's going to feel like. We just go into the action. We just do the work. And that's so much of Arjuna is showing up for the self. Reach that left arm forward, this time thumb really pointing up. Draw forward. Exhale, forward, exhale, wind it up, back it up, wind it up, exhale. Now we're looking over our left thumb, which is the dawn, which is the innocence. Again, it's that heart space. So feel again that pleasure here of really making a choice of where your heart wants to lead you. It's fucking scary letting ourselves be vulnerable like that. A warrior does not mean that they are impenetrable. They are very vulnerable. A warrior means you keep coming to that precipice. You keep saying, I'm gonna fucking show up. I can do it. I can do it. Keep it going. Keep looking over both eyes. Keep that bend of the front knee. 10 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. See both thumbs. And shoot it out. And hold. Maybe even close the eyes for a moment. That you are so assured in what your vision is, where you're going, that you don't even need to see it. You just know. That is faith. You've got this. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Drop the arms, just turn the toes in, and just readjust so the feet are underneath you. And we're going to find ourselves in our seat. I'm going to just double check the time really quick. Great. We're good. So go ahead and come down to a comfortable seat. And again, block underneath your booty or sit on a chair. It can be cross-legged or in Virasana. Just going to come into some twists to just work with our adrenal systems a bit. Interlace the hands behind the head so we get a beautiful fit of the heel of the palm right on that ridge of the head. Being mindful of this triad of the elbows fitting with the chin. So we're making that connection, and the triad is of such strength, stability, and structure that we have that honed in here. So sense the rise and the brightness of the spine, so the heel of the palms, elevate that expression a little bit more, but you've really claimed the legs. You've got your stability. You are honed in. Let yourself have vision. We're going to play with some twists. When we go to the left, it's an inhale. When we go to the right, it's an exhale. I'll begin. You join when you're ready. So keep this going. And here we come back again to this sense that we know the universal truth, but then there's this relative truth that's happening all around us. This is that social monastery I was saying before, where what we do can't live in a vacuum on our mats. It doesn't just exist on our mats. The things that we're doing are serving us in our everyday life. And so here we've got to look at that. We've got to look at the terrain. And our emotions and our circumstances, they are always changing. And so we study the map, we build these techniques, so then when we get into a new territory, when we get into a feeling that might be scary, that we don't recognize, we really know how to navigate it. We have the vision, we have the clarity. We have so many truths around us that thread together and become one truth. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Keep rising. Rising above old stories, old circumstances. That's not where you are anymore. You are here. You are showing up. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And on that functional level, this is pressing against our adrenal system. So getting that idea that we're flushing away that fight and flight, that we don't even need to go to those extremes of our nervous system, that we can really have that capacity to co-regulate. We can have that capacity to feel grounded without falling so deep that we become immobilized. We have enough fire in us to keep us twisting, to keep us in action without us falling so deep into the fire that we get burned up, that it creates those wounds, those burns within ourselves. Keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come center, breathe in with your interlaced hands. Flip it up towards the ceiling. 3 sips through the nose. Can you fit 3 more times? Hold, scrunch the face, draw the shoulders up towards the ears. Swallow. Soften the face, exhale, drop the arms. Take a second. Listening to the work of physical manipulation. And how does that create these subtle manipulations inside ourselves? And remembering that claw hand we made at the beginning, are we feeling things like that, cutting away inside ourselves, cutting away those fabrics, those stories? Or are we feeling ourselves being coaxed in, that we're feeling harmonized? You've gone into the well, so you might fall into tears where there is water just coming up, bursting. There is no judgment. Take a breath in and let it go. One more, breathing in, sensing your efforts, that fire. And the exhale is the surrender. Receive the grace of your actions, of serving, of being here, showing up. How tremendously hard that is sometimes. The eyes open. We've got a few more movements. Reach the arms forward. And I want you to think of, I'm going like this, because I want you to think of this child that when they got really excited and they I'm thinking of a baby when it's eating and it's got its tray and it starts just smacking the table and then the food's flying up and there's just a big old mess. And then how do we laugh at that mess? There's like that moment, especially as a parent, where you go like, don't do that, I don't want to have to clean that up. But it's all messy, and we need to have that willingness to throw the fucking spaghetti on the wall, you know? So reach the arms forward, and what we're gonna do is we're bringing the arms up and down pretty vigorously, and every time it hits down, there's a smack where it levels out with the shoulders, and there's an exhale. So I'm gonna start it, and you join when you are ready. So what we're doing is we're creating a pulse, we're creating a reverb, and it's not just going back out, it's coming back to us, that there really is this wave, this currency back and forth. And I want you to really think that you are smacking something, you're bringing it to the world of like, hey, let's fucking wake up. I'm swearing a lot today, I don't know what's going on. There is definitely a fire in me. But this is what it's calling into. This is stepping into Shakti power here. This is a Shakti Shala pranayama. And so it's really this female warrior that's coming in and saying, I am being seen, I am being heard, I am a force, I am powerful. So keep that exhale out, 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 out. There might be discomfort in the arms, but keep extending through the elbows. So we want to keep the arms long and just keep it going, keep it going. Again, let the breath do more of the work than the body. The muscles are going to deteriorate over time. So we really sustain the work by the flow of our prana, by that stardust coming in, those minerals moving us. Keep it going. You are heard. You are seen. You are powerful. You are a force. Claim it. Send that reverb out. Send that resonance out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Swing the arms up. Big inhale. Spread the palms. Spread the back of the eyes. Spread your ass. Spread the ribs, armpits, vision. Exhale, release. Go ahead and come off of your seat, and we're gonna go right into laying on our bellies. And what we're doing is hands are pretty wide, and you're gonna come up to a cobra and then tap the nose down to the ground, almost like an Eskimo kiss. If that is not in your playhouse, just bringing the arms a little closer to the chest and letting the back bends be a little bit smaller. But it's important for this play that we harness our back line here. So I'm going to just show what I tend to do, which is tenting the fingers, setting it up a little bit wider. And you might even widen the legs a little bit. So I'll start it and you join, and then I'll give some cues as we go along. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. So for this one, it really is important that you set a rhythm and you regulate around that technique. And you feel that the back body is helping you come up. And you're activating that until it then knows how to let go. You might then start to feel more safe to let the hands fully drop down. You might bring the hands a little closer. And so then the elbows bend alongside the ribs. There's so many choices for this. If you're staying low, then just lift the head and the chest. And everyone be mindful how you're tapping the nose down. That it's with sweetness. That we keep refolding to the earth. Now it's like we poke our head up, we see the circumstance, but then we know how nature and the universe is always providing, and we bow to that power. That we come up with fire and air, and every time we bow back down, it's into the water, it's into the earth. About 10 to 15 more, depending on your pace. What can you let go every time you bow the head? This is a gesture of obeisance to the path that you're on, the vision that you see, that this is folding into faith. That we can live in a kinder world. We can live in a more connected world. Trust that we're on that path. 3 more. Big inhale. Exhale, child's pose, making your way there, just setting the thighs underneath. And just flip as much as you can so the palms are up, elbows are soft, dropping the head. So now we really are in this bow. We are in this fold into a deeper prayer with the self, a deeper conversation with you and the world. And it doesn't have to be sweet here. You might feel in this fold that there is anger, there is, I don't understand. This hurts. How do we trust that these really are circumstantial, that this too shall pass? Sensing that collective energy that is in the action of coming to a higher place together. Breathing in through the back body. And exhale out. And go ahead and bring yourselves up. We got 2 more little things. Not sitting on any blocks. I'm sitting cross-legged because it's a little easier for this. It's little butt thumps, and this is sort of just create these last bit of impact into the ground. And so what you're going to do, again, it can be tenting the fingertips, or you might use hands fully down. I find it easier with tented fingers. You lift your butt up just a little bit, and then you drop it down. Like that, yeah. And when you're doing this, there is the sound of HUD on the exhale, right at the navel center. So it'll start to look like this. HUD, 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 HUD. So play with that. Again, it's building a resonance. So we're really proclaiming something out when we do that. And the HUD is really coming right from our navel center, and that is the abode of mastery. So we're saying, I am the master of my domain. Again, I've got this, that you are also creating impact into the earth to release trapped emotions. Get that shit out. So we keep that going. HUD, 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 HUD. And the thumb creates the HUD. So let it do that for you, that the landing pushes out that sound, that you don't have to force it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just a little bit longer. HUD, 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 HUD. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe the arms out to the side. And exhale, hug the arms across the body. Just fold the head slightly in. And with that feeling of an embrace, without losing the memory of that touch, that connection, bring the back of the hands to the thighs. So we have an open heart, but we can trust we are never alone. That we receive the grace. The fire of our efforts are always with us. Take a breath in. And a breath out. There's one more I'd like to do. Let me just triple check the time. All right. We're going to make this happen. If you've got blocks, it'll be a lot sweeter of an action. I'd say put on the lowest height if you've got it. Last little moments. So making sure that the blocks are actually, I'll be really clear with this, blocks are behind the line of the hips. So they're just behind the booty, but there's enough space that your hips can actually pass through. Set your hands on the blocks, making sure the fingers are pointing forward. Feet are ahead of you. Step down into the feet, lift the hips. This is your inhale. Breathing in. And on your exhale, draw the hips back like you're piking back. Now flex the feet. Push, push, push. Breathing in, lift up. Exhale, push it back. Inhale up. Exhale, push it back. Inhale. Exhale. And this one's a hot exhale out through the mouth. So have that memory of the HUD out of the mouth. And so we're getting rid of fumes that potentially are making it hard to find our speech, so smoking up our clarity. And here we're folding into different perspective. We keep changing what we're seeing. We're flipping it all around so we see all the angles. We're not going to stay here very long, so just keep it going. A few more. 3, 2, 1. Hold. Sip a little bit more. Stay here on the exhale. Drop the head back. Let your seat come down. Just place one block underneath you. Hands on the thighs, just a short Sufi circle, so just moving the ribs to the right. Keep the eyes closed for this, and these circles don't have to be very big. It's this final lasso of all of that resonance, everything that you've built in whatever space you're in, but not only staying in the microcosm of you go into the map of the world right now, and lasso all of that compassion, all of the warrior work that's going on all over, and even connecting to the dark stuff that's going on right now, that how can you embrace it with forgiveness? Even when it hurts, it's still part of the picture, so we've got to look at it. And then start to move in the opposite direction. Let the breath really be organic. Let it respond to the swirls. All of this is about keeping our vision, keeping it wide, keeping the throat free, the channel of the ears really discerning to hear nuance. Thinking of the friend that doesn't know how to ask for help, but we feel it, that we know that they need us. And how do we show up? How do we show up for each other? Start to slow down the circle until it begins to mediate the threshold of this moment, this spit of presence running down through the spine. And even when you cannot see it, there is constant mediation happening. So knowing that you have found a way of keeping yourself up, you are poised, you are ready, you're doing it, you've done it. Simply being inside the elements, the senses, all the stories, all of the patterns, and just seeing it. To end, bring both hands over the heart. There are so many mantras that are being chanted out on the street, and so you may not know in this moment, but let yourself hear the mantra that is happening in your mind that brings you closer to the rest of the world. And if that mantra is one that's severing us from that connection, be mindful of that too, where that's going. Hear it. And when it no longer serves you, let it change. For a final Om together, breathing in. Let yourself be heard. Offer the hands forward, trusting that you have something to offer, that whatever you are doing is exactly what you need to be doing. It is enough. Just keep showing up. Have a beautiful Wednesday, or if you've watching this later, as you're tuning in at nighttime or wherever, I'm sending my blessings. And I really appreciate you all so much. Thank you for holding space for this, for me and you. And please let me know if you have any questions along the way. Either through Movement for Hope or through my channels. Thank you so much, Movement for Hope, for holding the space for everyone. And all the collectives right now that are very powerful right now, that are taking action. Just whatever you feel called to do, if there is inspiration that's luring you, follow it right now. That's what brings the ease of body, breath, and mind, so trust it. So I really love you all. So thank you. Have a great Wednesday. I'll talk to you all soon.